For the first time in a long time, guys, I have been playing a lot of video games. And I think it has a little something to do with what today's video is about. But I've been streaming video games for like 9 hours a day for the last week and a half trying to get back into my old form because I kind of suck right now. I'm a little rusty, it's not going so well. Luckily for me though, guys, even though I haven't been playing that well, I've had something fuel me the entire way. A hearty snack that's been keeping me full and pushing me through these long gaming sessions. Hot Pockets. It just makes sense. It's a quick snack that I can make in between games and you can too. The cool thing too is that Hot Pockets actually started their own sweepstakes that started all the way back on June 1st and runs all the way through December 31st, 2017. There's a link in the description below that you can enter in once a day and they choose various winners throughout the entire month to win awesome game pack prizes that you can get your hands on yourself. All you gotta do, like I said, is click the link in the description below, enter in once a day, and Hot Pockets is offering a chance to win some really awesome prizes that I think you guys are gonna like. YouTube, how the fuck you doing? Hey guys, Nadeshot today. I'm bringing a brand new video. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Honestly, it's a shame how long it's taken me to sit down in front of you guys and turn on the camera and talk to you about my experience at the E3 gaming convention about a week and a half ago in Los Angeles, California. The reason why it's a shame is because at the event, I got to play Call of Duty World War II like 6 months early before it releases in November. Now, I know Sledgehammer is having an open beta in August that a lot of you guys on PlayStation and Xbox will be able to participate in, but I just feel so fortunate that I was able to play the game so many months early, and I want to talk to you guys about my experience with the game and just give you guys a broad review about how I felt as soon as I got my hands on the controller and jumped inside the world of World War II. And that's essentially what this entire video is going to be about. Now, just for perspective, World War II Call of Duty is coming from Sledgehammer Games. And if you guys have been paying attention, they introduced Advanced Warfare about 3 years ago, and that was their first independent title in the Call of Duty franchise. Now, some of you may not know this, but they worked on Modern Warfare 3 to a certain extent. I don't know to which level they contributed to that game itself, but Advanced Warfare was their first true independent title that they released, and that's when we strayed away from boots on the ground, right? After Advanced Warfare, we received Black Ops 3, and then we had Infinite Warfare. Ugh. Now with this video, I would hope that you guys know by now that this is a very unbiased opinion. I know for the last couple years, there have been rumors that certain Call of Duty YouTubers are in the pockets with Activision and all these development companies, but I have never been paid by Call of Duty. I've never been paid by Activision, and you guys should know this. I've been very vocal about how much I did not like Infinite Warfare. I've actually trashed the game. I mean, Infinity Ward gave us a game that nobody wanted and nobody is playing. They did a terrible job. And that's why it's so imperative that Sledgehammer Games knocks it out of the park with Call of Duty World War II. And I was able to play it. So we're gonna talk about it and we're gonna review the game itself. No more jumping around 20 feet in the air. I don't wanna have to snipe you on redwood, search and destroy, wall running on trees. It's just like this advanced movement system. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I'm so glad we are going back to boots on the ground. I digress. I'm getting away from what we're supposed to talk about. Call of Duty World War II. Let's review. Okay, so at the E3 gaming convention, I was able to play 2 days. On the first day, I played about 3 maps, and on the second day, I played 4 maps, and I was able to record 3 of those 4 maps. So in total, I probably had about an hour and 10 minutes of gameplay, and I've been able to deduct my own opinions about the game. So let's talk about them. Right off the rip, I just want to say this, guys. Boots on the ground is back. We all know that. But this really does feel like a classic Call of Duty. As soon as I got my hands on the controller and as soon as I jumped into the game, everything felt right and I was just so happy. I was actually smiling. I was physically smiling playing a video game just because it felt great. That classic Call of Duty feel that we've all grown to love. The game engine, the fluidity, and the pace of the game, it just felt fantastic. As soon as I shot my first person, I loved it. The audio files of the guns were awesome. It just felt right. I've been racking my brain about descriptive words that I can give it, but if you guys have been playing Call of Duty and you're subscribed to this channel, you guys know what Call of Duty feels like, and that's what I experienced with World War II. Now, obviously, you can attribute a lot of this to the honeymoon phase. I haven't been playing a lot of Call of Duty, and I finally got to play the first boots on the ground title that they've had in a couple years. So maybe I might be a little biased, but I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it. I loved it. Just from a broad perspective, World War II felt great. From the moment that I put my hands on the controller until I had to set it down and they forced me out of the room, I loved it. Now that I shared with you guys my initial reaction, I actually made a list so I did not forget to talk about anything that's been on my mind with the game over the last 2 weeks. So I actually thought it was pretty funny because the first day that I got to play those 3 maps, I was playing against the general media. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, hopefully nobody that was in the same room is watching this video. I really don't think so, but they were terrible. Oh, dude, they were terrible. It was so great. I just felt like I was pub stomping. I got to kill everybody at will. Nobody was putting up a fight. Nobody could get me in a gunfight. And so I got to use any gun that I wanted to, whether it was the airborne or the infantry divisions, which we'll talk about briefly. For the first 3 maps, the first day was fantastic. I had nobody putting up a fight. And so of course I was having fun. But on the second day, the matches that I got to record that you guys saw on my YouTube channel, I was actually playing against YouTubers, and some of them are pub stompers, so I didn't really know what I was up against, but there were some pretty good players. But regardless, the 2 guns that I switched back and forth between was the airborne class, which was the assault rifles, I believe, and then the infantry classes were the SMGs. Now, there are 2 core abilities that have replaced perks that are affiliated with each of those divisions. I might be confusing these, but I know with the assault rifle division, you have this bayonet charge, and then with the SMG division, you have the ability to throw a silencer on your weapon whenever you please. Don't want this to be a video of me breaking down the divisions and the abilities and all the skills that you can learn while you progress through the game in Prestige. So let's just talk about the guns. With the assault rifles, the weapon that I used the most was the bar. It was an automatic rifle. I cannot use the M1 Garand at all because my trigger finger is slow. It's terrible. And whenever I have to click the analog stick over and over and over, it's like my right thumb does not work the right way with an analog stick. So I literally cannot aim and I can't shoot fast. So I need to use an automatic rifle. But the bar itself was just so good, dude. It was just this consistent assault rifle that you know and love from every Call of Duty, whether it's the ACR, whether it's the AK-47, no matter what era you're playing in, it just felt right. The audio file sounded great. The hit detection was fantastic. I know I was playing on land, so it's sort of up for interpretation. But the bar, fantastic. There were no other assault rifles that were available except for the M1. So just from that class perspective, the gun was great. It felt awesome. And then with the SMGs, I actually switched between 2 different guns. I had the Tommy gun, and then I had the MP40. I will say this, I actually was telling the devs at the event, the MP40 needs to be buffed, which you guys saw at World at War a couple years back with Treyarch's release. But then you had the Tommy gun, which just absolutely melted from short range, but did not have a lot of ammo in the magazine, and it had a really, really fast fire rate. And then the MP40, I felt like just needed a little bit more damage to keep up with the Tommy gun. But overall, the assault rifles and the SMGs were the only 2 classes that I used proactively, and I loved them both. I really, really did. I know this is supposed to be a review, so it sounds so biased when I say I loved all the assault rifles and I loved all the SMGs, but I just really did enjoy myself playing with both of those divisions. Side note, I did use the sniper rifle bolt action. I don't remember the name of it, but I did use it very briefly and it was a lot of fun. I don't think there was any aim assist with the sniper rifles. I could be mistaken, but the bolt action rifle, a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. All the guns, thumbs up for me. Next up, guys, let's talk about the maps, okay? So what is the core foundation of every Call of Duty map that we've grown to love? I would say that it's a small to medium map with 3 definitive lanes. And with the 2 maps that we played, I can say that we did get that to a certain extent. One of the maps emulated a very realistic interpretation of a World War II environment where they had trenches, but I would say the main focal point of the entire map were the trenches. And the trenches that you're running around in were essentially eye level, so you really couldn't see above, and the only thing you could see was in front of you. And so from that map alone, I really did not get the 3-lane experience that I've known to love. And that was the only thing from a map perspective that sort of worried me. This has been on the back of my mind a little bit, and you guys can tell me if you relate, but when I think about my favorite Call of Duty titles, right, I go to Black Ops 2, and I think about maps like Meltdown, I think about maps like Raid, and Standoff, and Yemen. Then I go to Call of Duty Ghost, and I think about Sovereign, I think about Freight, I think about Warhawk. And for me, the things that those maps have in common is that they did not have clutter. They were very clean, and they were just sleek looking maps where you didn't have to worry about all this crap cluttering and filling up the map and making it harder to see enemies. You just didn't experience that with Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghosts, and even the more I think about it, Black Ops 3 as well, and a lot of other Call of Duty titles. The thing that worries me the most about World War II and the maps and themes that they're going to be implementing in the game is just those war-torn environments. I think Sledgehammer needs to be very careful that they don't stay too true to a war battlefield, because that just means there's gonna be a lot of clutter. That just means there's gonna be a lot of debris, and it's just gonna make things look very, very ugly from an aesthetic standpoint. It's gonna make finding enemies in your reticle and in your eyesight a lot more difficult than it should be, and that's the only thing from a map perspective that worries me. I only got to play 2 maps. One of them was a snowy map. It's a little bit harder to point out and see those enemies just because it's a World War II themed game. It was very dull colors. And that's just the one thing that I hope they don't go overboard with World War II is I don't think the maps need to be too realistic, because it just adds a level of realism that you don't really need in an unrealistic setting, which is a video game. That's the only thing that I'm worried about with maps in World War II. I hope that makes sense. I've been thinking about it a lot. You guys can tell me if I'm an idiot in the comments, but that's how I feel, and that's where my head's at with the maps. Next up, I want to talk about game modes. So I was able to play TDM, I was able to play Domination, and then I was actually able to try out the new mode that they're introducing into World War II, which is War. It's something very similar to any of you guys that have played Battlefield, where you have to progress through the map on offense, and then obviously on defense, you have to stop them from progressing through the map. Dude, War was an absolute blast. You guys can talk to my man Nick Merckx, who's a part of 100 Thieves, who's gonna be moving out here in the next couple weeks. War was surprisingly so much fun, and I think that you guys are gonna have to live it, and you guys are gonna have to experience it for yourself to know why I enjoyed myself so much with that game mode. If you guys play Battlefield, then you probably know to a certain extent what it's like, but I think it's gonna be a little different because it's on a smaller scale in Call of Duty, and it's a different game engine. But either way, War was so much fun. It was a blast, and I really wasn't expecting that. I did not think that I was gonna enjoy it coming into it, but I really, really did have fun with my time in that game mode. Now, the most popular game mode overall from the Call of Duty history in the franchise has been TDM. And I will say this for you guys that really love that game mode, I did not have any inconsistent spawns. Now, obviously we're a far way away from the actual release, so if there were any problems with the spawn, they would probably patch it and fix it. But the fact that we're in June and I wasn't having any janky spawns with people behind me, whatever reservations that you might have with a spawn system or just the TDM game mode in general, it was perfect. Now, obviously, I only got a shred of what we're gonna experience with the full game, but overall, the game modes felt great. I did not think that there was any holes or any problems with the core mechanics or the fundamentals of the game modes. So just to go over everything, the maps felt good, the guns felt good, and the game modes felt good. I don't have much to complain about, guys. The last thing that I want to talk about that I think a lot of people have been discussing on online forums, on Reddit, on Twitter, and a lot of people have asked me about it, the time to kill. Is it similar to Ghost where you get absolutely melted, or is it similar to Black Ops 3 where it takes a little bit longer to kill? Some people disagreed with me in the room that I was playing in, but I swear guys, I think Sledgehammer actually has the time to kill nailed down perfectly. But with World War II right off the rip, I thought it was perfect. It wasn't too quick and it wasn't too long. Overall, thinking about all the things that I said, I don't have anything negative to say so far about World War II. You guys are all gonna get to experience the beta in August, so you're gonna have your own perspective on it. But for me, with the hour and 10 minutes that I played, I loved every single second of it, and I really did genuinely enjoy it. Lastly, guys, I just want to emphasize how excited I am that we're all going to be playing on one Call of Duty title. I think this year, even though it was really great to have Modern Warfare Remastered because Infinite Warfare sucked, it's really a problem when you split the community between two different games and you don't have everybody aligned on the same title. And that's why I'm excited to go back to the normal format, boots on the ground, one singular title. Everybody's gonna be playing on it, and that's just gonna increase the hype and the enjoyment that everybody else is gonna have because we're all gonna be playing one single game. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed myself with Call of Duty World War II. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I can't wait for you guys to get your hands on it as well. I'm so excited for the year that we have coming ahead of us with World War II. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and YouTube. We'll see you fudging later. Goodbye.